Amen. Yeah. Amen.
Yeah, man. It's your boy, Young Philly.
All I'm saying is,
That's
Mom,
sick.
I made it on camera. You feel me?
You already know.
We're out here.
We're out here.
We're trying to live our best lives right
New
now.
form of media. Welcome to episode number
4.
4 of Through Deep Waters. Yo, we already have 3 in the bag. That's kind of crazy,
That's
no?
a tough name though. I can't lie. 3D.
You don't like it?
That's a tough name.
It's a nice name.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So
Yeah. Yo, get closer to the mic, bro. Get closer to the mic.
I got you.
Yeah, there we go.
Anyways, so to kick off our 4th episode, we had to bring in someone who's very special to both of us.
Yeah, bro.
And
What did
so-
we met you in the beginning of
Was I
our
not
time
speaking?
in Canada.
In the
See
beginning.
where-
Was I not
In
speaking?
the beginning.
In the beginning.
Anyways, introduce yourself.
No, you have to introduce people.
Nah, you have to say your name. State your name, cuz.
Give me justice. Yo.
Oh, okay.
All I'm saying, my name is Bilal, right? I'm mesquite. I'm too clean.
Yeah?
I'm a young fresh brother on the scene. I had 2 bad bees, but a brother's on his thing.
Okay.
I pulled up to the crib like, mate, where you been?
Okay.
Off the dome?
Off the top of the dome.
Completely?
50
You've
and 0.
never said that before?
50 and 0.
Yeah?
Right hook if you're messing with me and my bros. Sign me up, cuz. Sign me
All
up.
I'm
cuz.
saying. This is all I'm saying. Check this what I'm wearing. That's all I'm saying.
That's all I'm saying. Listen,
Yeah.
Drake, if you're watching this,
You
I
already
have a
know.
YouTube channel, 2.5K, you feel me? Shout out here.
Let's say 2.5K.
2.5K, fam.
Anyways, so today our special guest is Bilal Gulleid.
Okay.
Did I pronounce it right?
Yeah.
Bilal Gulleid.
You should be knowing that, man.
Yeah, I
You're known for
feel
that,
confident. You know
Yeah.
this guy, bro.
Sorry, repeat. Bilal Gulleid.
Yes, sir.
That's crazy.
So Bilal, how do you
Mention that
know?
I'm
Hold
6.
on.
Mention that I'm 6 foot.
Let me give him.
200
You know how when you
pounds.
introduce
6'4", how many?
200 pounds.
200 pounds. That's a lie. 210 at least.
ladies.
You're 200 pounds.
Wow, 90 kilos.
Say wallah.
No, he's not
I'm
90,
84.
you're winning.
Okay,
I'm 84. If
Okay.
you're 90 kilos, I'll kill myself. But I said I'm 90 kilos.
Okay,
That's
wait
such-
today, right? I was 89, but like 90.
Yeah,
but
no,
no,
go weigh yourself
no,
right now.
no,
Stop the
that's not-
podcast. Because I know you're lying.
No, it's not. He weighed himself with jeans with a jacket, and he weighed 88 at the end of the day. Yeah.
You're lying.
Mind you, I've only had 1 meal today. All I'm saying is,
Yo, this guy's bugging, bro. We put him in shock.
You're lying. No, we're putting this to the test.
all I'm saying is, no, listen. All I'm saying
Yeah.
is, I've only had 1 meal today.
If this is under 90, you can give me a right hook to the stomach.
All I'm saying is,
Yeah?
I've only had 1 meal.
Okay,
I
go
expected wings, pizza, laziz, something when I came, but
Don't act like we didn't feed you what we had in the fridge, fam.
If you want,
you know what?
I'll
Alhamdulillah.
I'll put my bank account, how much money I have in my bank account, like on the screen.
Oh wait, speaking of that, you know what this dude did?
Can you sit back down, please?
Oh no, I want to weigh yourself first.
You know what this dude did? He sent me $0.1 on
I
one
sent you
symbol.
$1.
And then I found if you were really about it, you'd have added a 0.
It took us 4
Yeah.
episodes.
That's
Yo,
what you put.
it took us 4 episodes to
No,
get 10 out of his
no,
seat.
no.
That's kind of crazy. It took us 4. Now I'm by myself here. I don't know what these guys are doing, but how much is that? How much? Can you please verify the amount? How much, Bilal?
He's 84.
And what are you?
I'm 88.3, but I haven't eaten anything. I've only had
Okay.
1 meal today.
Go behind, yeah.
So I'm fasting, kind of. But I'm still 90 kilos.
6'4".
Seriously, I'm not my weight.
MashaAllah.
Look at his face, bro. What the?
Nah, you know, respect. I'm just extremely heavy then.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Down.
Anyways,
Okay.
what were you saying? You were saying something.
Okay.
What was I saying?
Okay, so
You said
let's
something
give
about
the
you know what this guy
attributes.
did.
No, because we have to introduce Bilal properly, you feel? So let's give the attributes, right? Bilal is a senior man, even though I'm older than you, right?
Okay.
He's a senior man because he graduated UW.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. What do you do now?
We're living life.
What do you do now?
Thank you, but what do you do?
I'm still a student.
He's in
Yeah?
grad school.
Yeah.
Where?
Alhamdulillah.
Where do you study?
We keep it humble, but at the University of Toronto.
Say it louder, broski. Mike's not gonna hear you.
At the University of Toronto.
Okay, say it loud.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, how'd you meet Zayd? I actually don't know this. How'd you meet Zayd?
Do you remember?
MKV.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
right,
one time because we have a mutual friend, Mariyuki. Shout out Mariyuki. I met with Mariyuki before in first year.
Yeah.
And Mariyuki and you went to high school in Kenya
Yeah.
together, right?
Yeah.
So Mariyuki called me down. I was at my residence, and he called me down and he said, "Oh, come, I have a couple of friends I want you to meet," and it was you and Ali. So that's how we met. know?
Did you guys vibe at the start?
Yeah.
Or was it like one of those stories where like, oh, I didn't like him at first, and then
No, that's not Bilal. I think we.
Yeah, the thing is, but I don't think I have a problem with anybody. I don't think. I mean, I perhaps people do have a problem with me, but like I don't think I have a problem with anybody. Like I don't say like, oh, I don't like you.
fair enough,
Yeah.
fair enough, fair enough. That's good to know.
Yeah.
How did I meet you?
Through me.
From your brother.
You came.
Yeah,
you
what was the first encounter?
You moved
No, I
from
used to
Turkey.
meet you. No, I used to meet you.
We used to play football. It's
Football, yeah, exactly. Hussein's not that nice. I'll be honest. He's actually not that nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, now you made him angry.
No,
Yeah, he's
no
not that
problem.
nice.
That's the angry
It's okay.
smile now.
It's
No,
okay.
Hussein's a bit upset that I'm a bit better than him in FIFA.
Wallah al-azim.
FIFA,
Listen
2K,
very closely. Listen
football,
closely.
and
Wallah
boxing.
al-azim. Real football, you're not on my level.
Fair.
Wallah al-azim. I swear to God.
Yeah, because there's levels to this.
There's those two. You're not on my level. Yeah? Okay.
That's crazy. That's,
Okay.
You don't know about Bilal. It almost.
Bilal?
Yeah, that's so many
Bilal,
stories.
man, Bilal plays one long ball and then sits down and says, I'm tired.
You need injury, you feel me? I could have.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You
yeah.
know what?
Yeah.
Let me keep myself humble, fella.
Nah, Bilal, your sport is basketball though. Yeah.
Yeah, you're nice at
before you're
basketball.
tired.
I don't even compete with you.
Yeah,
I'll be
before
honest.
you're tired, because you even
No,
used to
it's actually a lot-
represent your city.
I was a lot better in football, but it's just like knee injury to be fair. Like, I
No,
don't
but you
really-
you played
Yeah, but I'm not.
on national level in Kenya.
Yeah, but the talent level in Kenya isn't all that.
Yeah, but then, like if you're top of your country still, like if I'm top in Iraq, I would still be like gassed.
Not really, because like if I go to pickup right now, I ain't standing out.
Nah, you are.
I mean,
I don't think he is.
I'm not standing out in pickup, mate.
Like
Like,
you played in a while.
No, like pick up with quality players.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Like I'd play my role, but that's about it.
Fair enough.
I'm not dropping like 20 and 10.
You already know. I don't know, man. Like I feel like you have. If you pursued it, then you would have been like. If you just came into university and said, "I'm gonna play basketball every day. I'm gonna go hard."
Did you try out for the team?
You should have.
Not really. Like I was not too concerned about it.
Fair
I was
enough.
more fixated on like focusing on what I came here to do. I was just more fixated on like academics, and that was about it. And I mean, like football, everything was just like on the side.
Yeah.
But academics
yeah.
was the key. You feel me? Because man needs to get his grades up. Need to make mommy proud.
Is mommy gonna watch that?
Man,
Probably not. Actually, maybe you never know.
Sure it is, bro. Yo, anyways,
My mom needs to have a certain perception of me.
what perceptions are we gonna break today? That's crazy.
Actually, no, I'm still like I like to think I'm a decent dude.
Anyways, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, we'll give you that one today just because you're a guest on the podcast. We'll give you that one today. But anyways, so wanted to get into some questions that we have for you
Fair
today. So Bilal, if you don't know, if you guys don't know him, he's
How
a
do you
very
spell Mississippi?
M.I. Sippy.
You said M-I-Sippy.
That's crazy.
Anyways, continue with your questions.
Nah, I just want to say like if you don't know Bilal, then you don't know that Bilal is actually one of the most positive people I've ever met in my life. I don't like. Do you remember when we used to live in our old place? I'm gonna give away
What?
the address,
The
but
penthouse. You used to live in a penthouse, you know.
Yeah?
Yeah.
No, what?
The mansion.
Fam, penthouse is top floor living.
I mean,
This is the penthouse too then.
yeah,
We're not doing no apartment tours, but this is the penthouse too.
Penthouse.
We were on the 4th floor of an apartment, but it's the top floor.
I mean, yeah.
Alhamdulillah, we keep
Penthouse
you,
suites, you know
we
what I
keep
mean?
you humble.
So we used to live at our old place. I was never much of a morning person.
Excuse me.
I was never much of a morning person at all. And Bilal used to always come, and every morning he comes like full of energy. And me and our old roommate Ali, we're both dead. Like we're not ready to start this day. We're not ready to wake up. And this guy comes in like, good morning, do that.
No. Good morning. I know some of y'all are still yawning. I know some babies are still crawling, but wake. That's from Michael Dapper. That was not mine. That was from Michael Dapper.
No, but you took that.
I
You
took
ran
that.
with that. So imagine you wake up every single morning, you're dead. You're just trying to start your day and get on with your life. And this guy comes in like, good morning, bro.
To have someone like that, in contrast, Zaid woke up today.
Yeah.
Woke up late.
At
'cause
4
he had a long day. I
A
looked
long
at him.
week.
I looked at him. I was like, yo, what time did you? I didn't even say anything provocative or nothing. I was like, yo, what time did you wake up? He looks at me and goes, leave me alone, man. To have that in contrast
not-
with such a positive morning person, that's so
I
funny
am
to
not
see.
a morning person. I have to be a morning person for work. But that's the only people I can front for, like morning wise, you know.
But
Otherwise,
the thing is, like, I still take like the thing is, I wake up early, so I still have the first hour to myself to like gather
You
myself.
just don't come out of your room until then.
I do.
to eat breakfast, no?
No, I have my routine. I don't leave my. I have to do what I have to do. Like I go shower, like all that 2 times to myself to group myself, and then I give the energy.
So what is your routine? What's your morning
Nah.
routine like?
Yeah, I think because that contributes a lot to how you're able to get up with such a positive. And
Hey, I sleep. I get enough sleep.
how many hours usually?
I get 7-8 hours of sleep.
You never dip under 6?
I don't like to. I mean, it's happened,
Okay.
but it's not like consistent. No, like consistently, like 7 hours of sleep. 8. Consistently 7, 8.
Fair.
More on the 7, but on the 8 too.
Yeah, if you get 7, you're like good for the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I think.
I try to keep it healthy.
No, for sure. But if you imagine like just picturing yourself like waking up, being so dead, just trying to just move on with your life, and this guy just comes in, slaps
so
you
great.
in the
Like
face.
the days I literally wake up, I go to the bathroom, I just look at myself and just start laughing.
You know, but it's
I
so
just start laughing.
it's so nice when you can crack yourself up. Some people don't have that. You know.
You know
some
the thing
people-
is, I sometimes I walk to school, I don't even have earphones, right? I have earphones, but I
But
don't.
you just talk to yourself.
I just talk to myself.
Yeah,
I start making freestyle raps in my head on my top of the door, and I'm like, mate, I'm so stupid.
And that's a fun thing though. Like that means you can always entertain yourself.
I genuinely like make
Someone who
myself
doesn't take themselves too seriously can really like get themselves through the boring parts of life.
No.
Because you're always gonna have moments where you're alone and all you have is yourself. To be able to like just vibe with yourself is like another
I always say I love being alone, but not feeling alone.
lonely.
What was your
Yeah.
Actually, Bilal last summer he had a whole theme for the summer because you were staying in a place and like how it works with university residences is you rent out a room in a place, but other people can rent out rooms around you. So Bilal rented out a room, but no one else rented out a room in the place. So you ended up getting the place to yourself, right?
Yes, sir.
And you told me something about your theme for that summer, something you wanted to work on. What do you want to expand a little bit on that?
It was not the summer; it was like the fall. So for 8 months, I technically lived alone.
Yeah.
From January till September, I lived alone. So the first few weeks, like, cause I'd never learned to be alone. I always had people around me. Even when I lived with these dudes, there was a time I wanted to move out, but I didn't because nobody wanted to move out with me, and I was not ready to move out alone. So when I took that step to finally move out and like not stay with people that I knew, it was going to be so scary. Like I didn't know what to expect. So in my mind, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go be to myself and figure it out.
Right.
But after the first week, like these people never showed up, and it looks a lot more likely that they would not show up and that I have that place at least for the 4 months to myself. So I kept telling myself, because like positive or at least reaffirmation is something I practice. So I kept on looking at myself in the mirror. I'm like, the theme for these next 4 months is going to be solitude and not loneliness. Solitude is like being comfortable being alone, but not feeling alone. So being comfortable in my own space, living in my own space and being okay with that. So I kept on telling myself that, okay, I'm going to be alone, but I'm not going to feel alone. I'm going to love my own space. I'm going to love my own time.
Okay, here's a question for you.
Go on.
Obviously, when you're alone, you inevitably have periods where you have some really deep, dark thoughts. Not necessarily like negative or like, I want to kill myself for him. Not nothing of the sort.
Yeah.
But you have thoughts
And, like,
that
before
are
you could-
unwelcome normally. You know?
Yeah, tell me.
How do you welcome that? Do you think it makes you stronger? Do you stay away from these thoughts, or do you just not have them?
I don't shy away from thinking. Like, I let myself think, and I think out loud, but I journal. So I speak to myself. I journal. I vlog myself speaking.
By the way, journaling is like a number one strategy how to like identify your feelings and understand.
Yeah.
Like if you feel bad, journal. It will help you with your emotions so much, you know. But to add to that, like that's a big deal why people can't stay alone.
Yeah.
Us like humans, we're social beings, but also your mind doesn't like with your mind. If you have skeletons in your closet in any way, your mind doesn't like to think of those skeletons. It just wants to be calm, and the way it's calm is if it distracts itself. So the more people, the more distractions.
Yeah.
So-
But the thing is, like, let me put it out there. Like, alhamdulillah, I'm so grateful and I'm beyond thankful.
Alhamdulillah.
I don't have emotional baggage. I'm so grateful. I know a lot of people do
Alhamdulillah.
face that. I don't face mental difficulties. Like, I can't say and tell you, like, oh, I suffer from like depression or anxiety. So I'm comfortable being alone. I'm so grateful for these periods of ease. I know there will be periods of hardship in life, but for the periods of ease, I'm grateful. So I can't sit and compare myself to somebody else who can't be alone because they face depression. Because you know what I mean. So for me, speaking, it's so much easier. Like I can be alone because I don't face deep dark thoughts. And when I do face like sometimes you're down, oh shit, I can journal, and that can be enough for me.
Yeah.
For other people, it's a lot different. You need a lot more, but for me, that's enough. And I'm grateful because a lot of people don't have that. And that's why every morning I thank God.
What
I
about...
I can go on a walk. I can go to the gym and de-stress and everything. That's works for me.
So what?
And prayer.
Yeah. So what word of advice would you have? Let's say, for example, for somebody who, like maybe sometimes they can struggle with being to themselves and finding that solitude, that key, like being able to sit by yourself for a day or 2 days even and be comfortable. What would you? Because that's a skill. It takes practice.
Yeah.
So how would you advise them to start getting comfortable with that, and what would you say?
I think with all this, you don't just wake up. And I've always said is you have to work on yourself, right? As much as you train your body, you have to train your mind, right? There's this lady. Her name is. I listened to her on an Oprah podcast. I actually forgot her name. But she just talks about how for her to be where she at, it takes a lot of work, and it's so hard that every day you have to wake up, stick to your structure, stick to your routine to get to where you will need to get to. Do you know what I mean? So for me, it's a lot of, you need to like constantly reaffirm yourself, be able to look yourself in the mirror and say X, Y, and Z. I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that. You might not feel it at the moment. You might not be happy. You might not think you're beautiful. You might not think you're smart. But you have to tell yourself these things because you need to hear it. And sometimes it's best if you hear it from yourself before somebody else. Because if you can hear it from yourself, you're more comfortable with yourself. That like, okay, I don't need another person to reaffirm me. But it's a lot of work because as much as telling yourself these things, you also need to put the work to do these things. You know what I mean? If it's like, let's say, oh, I'm smart. Okay, I still need to put like efforts academically.
Right.
That's why the Prophet ﷺ said you tie your camel and then you put your trust in Allah.
Yeah.
Or at the same time you put your trust in Allah. So it's you do what you need to do. You tell yourself, but at the same time you have to work on yourself, and it's hard because some days you wake up and you don't want to work on yourself. You just want to be lazy. And those days are okay, but it's hard work to get yourself out of the bed, go to the gym. It's hard work to say I'm going to listen to a podcast today and not listen to X, Y, and Z. It's hard work to say I'm not going to think like this. Do you know what I mean? It's not as easy. It doesn't just happen. You have to put work, and obviously, like for me, a lot of it is guidance and favor, but like it's also hard work.
No, for sure.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
So, okay, my question for you is, so now that we're talking about working on yourself, self-improvement and stuff, there's a lot of people who reach a point of just being content. Like not necessarily like, oh, I'm happy, I think I'm an amazing human being, but like content with who they are as a person, and they think, yes, I'm like a beneficial member of society. If 0 was I'm content, and 10 was I have so much work to do, where are you?
I don't look at it like that. I think regardless, you have to be content. So if my understanding of content is like, I'm grateful for where I'm at in life. I might not be where I need to be, but I'm a lot further than where I was. That's how I look at it. So you can be content, but still want to strive for better. So for me, contentment is just gratitude. I'm grateful. Because you can know like, oh, a lot of people can look at me and say, okay, they would love to be where I'm at. Or I can look at myself a year before, 5 years before. I'm like, you know what? I'm grateful for I might not be where I need to be. I might not have ticked off everything I want, but for where I'm at right now, oh shit, I'm grateful. Because a lot of the times, like, we're always in this mindset where we're so fixated on what we don't have rather than what we have. And we think, or we're always so fixated on what it should be, how it could be rather than what it is. So for what it is, I'm grateful. I look at what I have, oh shit, I'm further along than, you know what I mean, than I was before. I might not be where I need to be, but I'm grateful. So I'm like, I'm content, but I still know there's a lot more work, hard work that still needs to be put.
I think you touched on a couple of important things there. The first one is like what you just mentioned just now is you compared yourself to yourself.
No, yeah.
Right? You didn't look at the next man and be like, oh, that person's doing better than me, or I'm doing better than that person, because your journeys are different. So if your journey with somebody is different, right? Like, you have to be able to isolate and be like, okay, as long as I'm better today than I was yesterday, I'm in a good place.
I'll tell you this. Again, a lot of the learnings that I have is from podcasts, so it's, you always take from other people. Ian Lavanla said, comparing yourself to others is an act of violence against yourself.
Just talk a bit louder.
I say comparing yourself to others is an act of violence against yourself. I can't look at you and compare yourself because I'm just doing myself a disservice, if that makes sense. It's like, and Devon Franklin also said this perfectly, everybody's living in their own movie, right? We're all living in a movie. You have your own individual movie, I have my own individual movie. Within each movie, there's scenes. So I can't look at your scene and compare it to my scene because perhaps the context is a little different. You might be further along in your story than I am. You might be at the climax of your story. You might be at the beginning of your story. I don't know how your story pans out. There's some stories where they start off happy, end off in another way. There's some stories start off miserably. So I can't look at you and compare myself because, oh shit, that's your individual scene. I have my individual scene. I can only compare myself to where I was, not where you are at now. Because contexts are different. Like I can't look at you and say you have X, Y, and Z, and I don't because perhaps, I grew up with a lot different circumstances. Do you know what I mean? Or let's say right now you're academically. Maybe you have to go to work, you have to deal with personal issues and family issues, and you're still grinding in school. So maybe you can't give like 100% like the way I can. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I can't look at the people.
I want to tell a story real quick. I don't know if you remember this actually, but I think in first year we have a mutual friend, and at the time he had like found a job in the summer, and he found a job during university in first year, and I told you, and I was a little bit upset. And we had a discussion about it, and I said, how come he was able to find a job and I'm still out here like struggling and I can't get work and I don't have any experience and whatever. And you just looked at me and said, his time is now. Your time is coming later. And now that's what ended up happening. Eventually, second year, I got a job and we moved it from there. Like, it's also another important thing. You only put yourself in stress if you compare yourself to other people. At the end of the day, your journey is your journey. And like you said with the movie and scenes example, that's a perfect way to look at it. The other thing I wanted to say that you touched on that was also really important is this idea that you have to be accepted as it is now, as well as want to improve. I think that's really important. Speaking of the podcast that you get your learning from, there's a really good book I recommend to everybody. This book changed my life. Somebody made me listen to this book, said, we're not going to speak to you unless you listen to this book, an audio book. And I had to listen to it, and I listened to it, and it changed my life.
You think like a monk?
No. Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Listen,
I really love that book.
listen to that book.
I listened to that. Like Oprah's the one who suggested that.
Do you remember the section in that book where it was like, you have to surrender to your reality, no matter what you're, like, I don't know if I'm butchering it or whatever, but the idea, the meaning is, you have to surrender to your reality, whatever your reality is.
He used the words, act like you chose this moment. So he gave the example, like at an airport. Let's say, for example, you're rushing towards your gate, and there's a line in place, right? Sometimes you have to act like you chose to be in that moment, because if you don't, you're going to over-worry and overburden yourself. So act like you chose to be there. So accept the reality for what it is. Surrender yourself to that reality.
Right.
And then be okay with whatever happens. So still strive to be better, but live in the now, accept the now, and act like you chose the now. Because if you live in the now, but you don't act like you chose it, comes a lot of problems.
Facts. It's like, you know, if you're in the bottom of a pit, and you imagine yourself like you're not able to accept the fact that you're at the bottom of the pit. You're never going to be able to put yourself in a position to climb out of the pit if you never accept that you're there at the bottom now and be okay with it. Like, okay, I'm in a bad situation now. Something's going on in my life now that's not the best of things. But let me accept this reality so I can work on improving it.
You see, the thing is, like, for me,
you're not accepting a bad circumstance and just saying, I'm in a bad circumstance and I'm staying in it. You know what I mean? You're saying, I'm here. I'm okay being here at this very second, but I'm going to do everything I can to get out of this, but I'm going to be okay in my mental state and accept my reality while I put the effort to get out of this too.
So the thing is, for me, like, faith shapes a lot of my reality, and a lot of this understanding comes from faith. And I'm not saying this to put myself in a certain light. I'm certainly not perfect, but, you know, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ says, you know, don't say I had done such and such. Don't say if. Say, قَدَرَ اللَّهُ مَا شَاءَ فَعَلَ. This is the decree from God, and this is how He has ruled it. So you're not leaving room for if I only did this or had I only done that. No, this is how it was decreed. So accept it for what it is, because if you don't, you leave room for whispers from shaitan. So accept reality for what it is. Be content with it, because this is exactly how it was decreed. Still work to improve your situation. Still work to be better, but have that tawakkul, have that trust that, okay, this is how it was decreed. You know what I mean?
For sure.
My dad is going to listen to this podcast and he's going to message me. He's going to be like, yo, go buy a gift for Bilal or something.
Baba Zaid, I love you, babe.
Yeah.
I still need to learn Aikido.
You're easily my father's favorite one of our friends.
Is it?
Yeah, in Canada, for sure.
Does he actually listen to the podcast?
I mean,
It's
yeah,
not out
it's
yet,
not
so-
out. Like, by the time we're recording this, like we're stacking up episodes. So none of the episodes are out yet. But when they do come out, yeah, he'll be listening. So by the time this is released, he would have listened to the first 3 and he'll have an idea.
I think he won't listen to number 2 and number 3, but if he knows you're on the 4th, I think he'll listen to it.
Maybe tell him to skip the first 5 minutes then.
The weighing scale and stuff. Nah, it's all good. You know what I mean? But that takes us. I love how you mentioned faith there, because that segues us into the next section of this conversation that I wanted to have actually, which is faith plays as much as none of us are perfect, and I don't want to paint any of us in like a light that we're not. But we have a belief in our religion, right, and our faith in God, and we strive as much as we can to be good in that faith. You know what I mean? Like, so faith shaped a big part of your life, and certain things, events in your life had transpired to where it helped you improve. So like, I want you to talk about this more, because I know you took a bad situation and you tried to create the best self-improvement possible, or the best reality possible from it. You know, there's a certain, not everybody can do that. There's a certain thing you have to tap into, and I know that a lot of people go through a lot of these situations at like, you know, and not many people can really deal with it and improve from them as much as they can. So if, you know what I mean, talk about your situation, how you dealt with it, how you used faith to level up, and then how you advise somebody else to, say, for example, to improve and take steps in their own predicaments.
So the thing is, I like, alhamdulillah, and I'm so grateful, like beyond grateful and beyond thankful. Faith has always played a large role in my life. Like growing up, I practiced, right? Not perfect. I practiced. I learned. I sought knowledge when I was younger. We went to Islamic school. In the home, I was taught values and principles, and I tried to hold onto them. So one of the fears that my parents had when I was coming to Canada is that perhaps I would lose those values without that sort of guidance that, you know, that's always there at home or with the community. But, you know, they trusted themselves, allowed me to come here, and I like to think I have not disappointed them, right? You know, first year, there's a level of freedom you're exposed to that perhaps you've never experienced before, right?
You're on uni by yourself.
You're living alone, you've never figured out, there's this want to experience that college lifestyle. And alhamdulillah, I was never too eager to do that, but obviously, you try to figure it out.
I feel like first year is the biggest trap though.
Yeah, no, but there's a lot of learning lessons. I think that's much of the growth that I made was in first year, because it's a moment of discomfort, and you grow from moments of discomfort. You have to seek discomfort to continue growing, because you don't grow when you're comfortable, because you accept it for what it is. But I think over the years, faith started playing a role. So I was always practicing, and I was always being better. But I think 2019 is when I started pulling up my socks.
And why is that?
So even before that, I think September, when I was in 350, I started pulling up my socks individually. So I started listening to, for example,
350 is our old place.
the Penthouse.
It's crazy.
So I started listening, I started seeking a bit more knowledge, started listening to maybe a bit more lectures here and there, but not consistently. You know what I mean? But I think with the passing of my father, Allah yarham,
God bless his soul.
Yeah. I needed to pull up my socks. So it was, you know, death is a reminder. And the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says, always think of the destroyer of pleasures, which is death, because we understand this life is all temporary. So with the death of my father, it hit home. It was like, okay, you always understand that death is going to happen, and you always associate it with person X, person Y, or this person's uncle, this person's father. You know what I mean? You always associate with somebody else. When it's immediate, now you understand, okay, there's a reality to all of this. And we've always been promised this, but now you can literally see the reality. Okay, this is.
It's different when you go through
exactly. And me seeing my father's body there, I was, reality check. I need to pull up my socks. And a lot of times it's.
But why did that motivate you? What about it motivated you to pull up your socks?
Did you want to leave a legacy, like make your father proud?
No, there's that. It's because I am a representation of my father.
Right.
right? When people see me in society, they will think of, oh, this person is son of so and so, right? So I want to be righteous, to continue to carry that legacy, but also because whatever I do now is going to benefit him, because we know you want to be a waladan salihah, a righteous child, because as much like in Islam, I don't know who listens to this podcast, when you pass away,
Imagine some atheists listening to this right now, like, nah, this is all bullshit, man.
but wait, whatever it is,
No, we respect the belief, but we also have a perspective to offer.
Of course.
Whatever the person does, that's up to him. I'm just speaking my truth. We believe that like when you pass away, all your deeds stop except 3. Sadaqatul jariyah, this charity that's ongoing. Like a child that like continue praying for you, and something else. I don't know.
It's like a mosque, I think, if you open a mosque.
That's sadaqatul jariyah. That's all
right.
like.
The sadaqatul jariyah, the charity is basically any type of giving that you do, or that you have done, or that people.
Oh, and the teachings that you've given people. Like for example, if I taught you X, Y, and Z, and you use that, so whenever you, like for example, if I teach a surah in the Quran and then you continue like reading from it, I get a benefit from it because I taught. You know what I mean?
I told you I've learned a lot from you.
Regardless, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
But again, as like one thing that benefits my father right now is a righteous child who A, learned from him, and B, is continuously making prayers for him, right? Because his status is elevated with each time I do righteous deeds. So for me it was, I want to be better for myself because that's the benefit, that's the whole intention, but I also want to be better for him because whatever I do now, I know is going to be benefiting him. So I want to get to a point in time where I can honor my father to the point where, the day of judgment, he can have a crown on his head. Right? So that's the whole idea. And for me, like, faith grounded me a lot. I found a lot of patience through faith. Found a lot of comfort through faith. And it was hard, but again, you find patience through prayer. So sometimes it's hardships that brings you closer towards that guidance. And again, I'm not perfect. I make a lot of mistakes. We're all sinners. But I'm trying. So it's that made me want to pull up my socks. It was a death of a childhood friend in January. Allah yarhamu Ad. Again, that hit also closer to home because, okay, it's my father, but he was always ill. Like my father had cancer, but my childhood friend was healthy, but he passed away. He was a year younger than me. You know what I mean? So it's like, there's a reality to this that you actually don't know.
It can even happen to people our age. Like,
that's what I'm
we're
saying.
young and it happens too.
Yeah.
But that one is more painful too. Not more painful necessarily, but it's also quite painful just because it's like that person will, although God's time is never premature.
Yeah.
But it almost feels to us that person was taken prematurely because there has so much left to give.
No, it's like he was taken at the right time.
No, 100%. And faith gives us that understanding.
Yeah.
But it's that innate humanness that makes you feel like he was taken way too soon or prematurely.
So for me, it was like, that can be me. And I was like, am I ready? No. What can I do to start being ready? Let me better myself. So that's like, the more I have this understanding of faith, the more I try to better myself with faith, the more I'm finding comfort in it, the more it's easier for me to be happy. The more it's easier for me to find comfort in like difficult times. The more it's easier for me to find patience in hardship. You know what I mean? And alhamdulillah, I'm so grateful. I ask God to not take any of it away, to continue,
to increase.
To only increase it. But yes, alhamdulillah. So faith does play like a large role in my life, and it's definitely helped me through difficult times. And I can only ask to be increased in guidance. Again, I'm not perfect, mate. Let me not put it as if.
No, 100%. None of us are. Like, we all have skeletons in the closet. We all
trying.
have mistakes that we make, But at the end of the day, it's the intention that you come in with, and we say, we want to get better, we want to improve. Okay, leave religion. If you're not religious and you're listening to this, like, you want to improve too, but you also want to be like, maybe if I'm not religious, let me improve myself as a human being. Let me make myself a better person.
Mate, I'll just tell you, just life motto. It's progress over perfection. We were not here to be perfect. We just have to be progressing each and every day. Can you look yourself in the mirror and say, am I better than I was yesterday? Am I better than I was last week? Am I better than I was last month or last year? I'm not going to be where I need to be because you're always going to want to better. Do you know what I mean? If you reach your goal today, you're going to set another goal. So you're never going to be perfect, but it's always progress over perfection.
I think that's a big, powerful thing also that happened with you is you used a negative situation that could be perceived as negative, which is like obviously a passing of, is painful to all of us, but you took that and you said, okay, how can I help my father, the person that passed away, and B, how can I use that to Like you could have gone in either two directions. You could either went down like the rabbit hole and been so caught up in it and never been able to deal with it.
Yeah.
And like, you know, that had pushed like that would continue to push you down, or you could have taken it and used it to propel yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what you ended up doing. So I commend you for that. And I think it's an example, like, to anybody who's watching or listening, that you can, like, you're never stuck in what you're in. You know what I mean? Like, whatever predicament you're in, and I know it's so easy for somebody who's not in your specific situation to say, but whatever you're stuck in, God didn't give you more than you can handle. You know what I mean?
Like, fam, it always gets better though. Like, you know, it's so crazy. Like, in life, you always think, like, I can never figure out. Like, always in certain situations that you think you can never figure it out. But you always figure it out. I think Steve Harvey put it perfectly. Like, your track record for always figuring it out is 100%. Like, you always figure it out. Whether it was in high school where you didn't know if you were going to pass, like, your A-levels or your IB exams. Whether it was university, you didn't know you were going to get in or how you figured. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You always figure it out, and you think sometimes there's no light at the end of the tunnel, but it always works out the exact same way. And I think if life worked out the exact same way we wanted it, we would not be where we are today. Because we learn from all these hardships, we learn from all these mistakes, we learn from all these falls. Exactly.
Here's what I think. I think there's a lot of... So in life, we have like a high number of ups and a high number of downs. But when we're up, and I've been guilty of this too. When I'm up, I'm like, okay, I'm so happy right now, alhamdulillah. But I know that the down is coming. And it's looming in your head. Rather than enjoying your high, you're waiting for the low. And once you've hit your low, you're not thinking of, but my high is coming.
But the thing is...
You're thinking of like staying, like just being like, oh, I'm so low.
What is happy?
What is happy?
I think, like, you know, everybody chases what is happiness? Like, if you define happiness, happiness is a moment. See, that's a different word.
No, but comfort is happiness.
No, that's a different... You see, the thing is, one thing we need to also understand, our emotional vocabulary is very limited to 6 words or 5 words. And this was like a study in Harvard. I'm either happy, I'm sad, I'm angry, I'm frustrated. You know what I mean? Are you happy or are you at peace? Are you happy or are you content? Those are 2 different things. Are you sad or are you feeling lonely? Are you sad or you feel frustrated? Those 2 different things. Are you angry or are you guilty? You know what I mean? So 2 different things. And happiness is like, you chase happiness, but you're never going to find happiness. Like, happiness is moments. You find meaning, you find purpose, you find peace, but you're never going to find happy. But like...
that contentment that you feel, the highs that you feel, you can enjoy them because... And that comes with building a strong foundation. Like, if you build a strong foundation for yourself and like, that's a solitude that we talked about, and able to have solitude with yourself, then you can really, like, not necessarily forego happiness, but you can live with the fleetingness of it all, where, you know, you're at peace most of the time. And even if you're, like, specifically happy or high, or moments are not, let's say, few and far between, you're good when you're just calm. You're good when you're upset, you know how to handle it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that, like, because things are up and down so much in our emotions, that we could do that. I remember, I want to say, like, I had a situation, just to talk about the negative thing, the rock bottom, and the thing you were saying about, like, how you always figure it out. I had a situation a few months ago, like, you know what I mean? And during that situation, I had called a friend, and I was feeling at the lowest point in my life at that time. And, like, my friend, that was a genius piece of advice. It pissed me off at the time, but it was a genius piece of advice he gave me. He said, Zaid, it will never be worse than it is now. You're literally, the worst thing that could have happened to you, happened to you, right? In this whole situation, the worst, most demeaning, most horrible thing that could have happened, happened. You're here. You know what I mean? So I was like, bro, what the hell? Why are you telling me this? Like, you know, you're supposed to make me feel better. But then he went on to say that, actually what I mean by that is, from here it's only up. If you feel like you're in the worst situation possible, from there it's only up. Like, you're only gonna go up, and you're only gonna, like, if you're at rock bottom, how much lower can you get? If you start to apply the right mindset, surrender to your reality, and that's what I had to do. Like, I had to just accept what I was in, and you could only go up from there.
Well, I like, you see, with that sort of understanding where you think sometimes it's always going to be up, you literally think it's always going to be up, but that's not how it is, though.
No, but if you're in a
Because
bad
for me,
situation,
it's like
you're in a bad situation and you're like...
Again, it's always, for me, I always look at it, it's not a straight line up, it's not a linear. It's
No, 100%.
up, down, up, down, up, down, but this down is a lot higher than this down. You know what I mean? So it's not always going to be up. You're not going to have downs.
It's a marathon.
But the down is going to be a lot higher than this other down. And this up is going to be a lot higher than this up. And so you're always going to have ups and downs, ups and downs.
Do you know about stocks? Like, have you ever looked at a stock
like,
graph that goes up like a winning stock? It never goes linear, but what I'm trying to say is, like, if you're at this down here, even if you go up and come back down, you're not gonna come back down to this level.
Yeah, 100%.
So if you're at the rock bottom, if you think that nothing can get better, nah, it will get better so long as we apply the right mindset. We move in the ways that we accept our reality, and we move in the ways that can slowly within the context of a marathon help us get out of that. And sure enough, like a few months later, I was good.
Just to even take it back to his saying, he always says, like you mentioned that, sometimes when you're happy or when you're at your high, you fear there's going to be at your low. Like, but there's a lesson in that, because just as much as your high might end up being a low, your low might also end up being a high. So it's never consistent. It's
that's
always
the point I'm making, though.
It's always one. That's what I'm saying. But life is not always going to be one.
But that's why you have to build peace.
Yeah, that's why, like, even again, the Prophet Muhammad says, be grateful for your periods of ease, because there will be periods of hardships, but also be grateful for those, because you will not appreciate the ease if you don't have the hardship. Like, for example, you will not appreciate your health if you didn't fall sick. You will not appreciate $100.
You don't understand how true that is.
You know what I mean? You do not appreciate $100 if, mate, you went to sleep hungry.
Shout out 50 Cent. Sunshine wouldn't feel so good if it wasn't for rain. No, sunshine wouldn't be special if it wasn't for rain. Joy wouldn't feel so good if it wasn't for pain.
All I'm saying,
Death might be easy, but death gotta be easy, but life is hard.
All I'm saying is, you mentioned 50 Cent and Prophet ﷺ in the same sentence. That's all I'm saying. Stuff
You
like
can learn from anybody. You can learn from, you know what I mean?
But you know what I mean? So it's like, sometimes you will not appreciate the ease if you don't have the hardships. And at the same time, it's like, you have to appreciate the hardship because there was ease. Right? So I can't complain saying, okay, like there's so much hardship, because I was living in ease. So be grateful and be patient in your time of ease, for there will be hardship, and be patient for your time of hardship, for there will be ease. So it's always going to be, you're going to have a moment where it's going to be up, a moment where it's going to be down. But you're going to appreciate the down because you're at the up, and you're going to appreciate the up because you're at the down.
I'll give you an example. So you know I tore my ACL, right?
Yeah.
And that was like...
Explain to the audience, they might not know.
Talk about the first episode.
Some people might watch this
I tore my ACL in a prime period of my life where I was extremely active. I was supposed to have my first fight a couple months after.
He's a boxer.
I'm not a boxer. I box. Anyways.
All I'm saying is...
He's not a rapper, he raps.
I gave him a few headaches. All I'm saying is...
We digress. I tore my ACL. Couldn't box. Couldn't play football. And like, before I tore it, I've never in my life gone more than a month without playing football. Yeah. And I had to go 8 months, 9 months, 8 months without playing football, which is one of the hardest things that's ever happened to me, where you have to just be in bed. Especially like that month of surgery. I didn't walk for a month. That month of surgery where you have to take 2 weeks before you can even shower yourself. Yeah. You know, when you go from being so active to that, you know, it's really like, you're in that moment, you're like, why is this happening to me? Why? But before I tore my ACL, I failed 3 semesters in uni. How I stayed in uni, I don't know. I will never know. It's a mystery that will never be solved. But I stayed in uni. Tore my ACL, stopped exercising as much. I had to stay in bed. I couldn't exercise. I had to turn my attention to other things. That's when I started studying more. That's when that semester my grade was like an 80 something, which has never happened before. And the semester after was 80 something, which is like, and it became a new normal. And now I can exercise, not at full capacity, but I can, you know, and I'm training and I'm working, and my grades are still, alhamdulillah, you know, they're good. And then you look back, and not only that, you get a lot of mental toughness too, from having like. So when I was in that moment, I was like, this is the worst thing that could have ever happened to me. Now, this is the best thing that could have ever happened to me.
That's what I'm saying. That's why, again, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam always says, there's barakah, there's goodness in all your affairs. When there's ease and you're grateful, you're surely increasing your favor. When you're patient in your hardship, you're also increasing your favor. There's always a light in every single thing. You just have to find it. And you might not know it then. You might not know it today. You might not see it tomorrow. Not next week, not next month. You're able to look back at it and say, that's what I'm saying. If your life went exactly the way it is, you would not be where you're at right now, mate.
Another cool way to think about that, I think, as well, is like, any type of growth requires discomfort and pain. You know, like think of, even if let's say you're trying to solve a riddle. While you're solving this riddle, you'll be so uncomfortable. You'll be so like, you know, like struggling to solve the riddle, but when you've solved it, you've grown your mental capacity a little bit.
I'll give you an easy example.
What?
You go to the gym.
That's what I was gonna say. That like it works physically, mentally, like it works in every
You
aspect.
tear
of
your
life.
muscles when you go to the gym. They
That's
grow
how
a
you
lot
get bigger.
stronger.
Yeah. Like in anything, whether it's physical, whether it's mental, whether it's like whatever it is in life, you only grow from pain, and like you need pain to grow.
It's so crazy if you think of it like that way. It's like you have to, like for the gym, like literally, if you think of it, you have to hurt your body for your body.
Yeah.
You have to put it through pain for it to become strong.
But I love that concept.
That's life, though.
Yeah.
You always have to have your difficulties, and then like,
No, for sure. But yeah, I guess that's how you maintain like. It's never like you appreciate the highs and you appreciate the lows, and that's why that way you're always at peace, or most of the time at peace, and you can go from there. That no matter what you're going through, you can always put a smile on your face and put a smile on the face of the faces.
and again, you just have to put it out there. It's okay to not be okay. It's
100%.
okay to like not feel like, oh, today I want to work on myself.
No, because we're men and men have to have no emotions and.
Oh, it's
That's a big
actually
problem in
it's
all of our
Suicide
cultures.
Awareness Month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will it be?
I take it back.
No, he was saying that as to
Regardless,
illustrate the
it's
problem.
November. It's Suicide
No,
Awareness Month.
I think when this comes out, it'll be December or January, but December most likely.
Regardless, right now
Yeah.
it's Suicide Awareness Month. But yeah, so it's like it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to not. But what's if there's one thing you can take out of it, just understand that it's all a moment. Moments of ease, moments of hardships, it's all moments. So while you're gonna have great moments, you're gonna have difficult, but they're all moments. They're not the reality.
That's
You know
what
what I
you tell yourself as well in the hardship. Like your emotions are not your reality. You're experiencing emotion at that time, but that's not like you're not set there forever. You know.
Just Jay Shetty put it perfectly.
Talk.
He said that. Oh, it's not Jay Shetty. It was like a guest that he had on. A lot of the times, the way we speak, words are very powerful. Whenever we speak, we like plant a seed. We're planting our reality. And a lot of times, we try to define ourselves from our emotions. So we say, I'm sad, I'm happy, I'm angry. You're not sad, you're not happy, you feel sad. I have the feeling that I'm angry. And just that plays a lot. Like it does a lot in changing your reality, because when you say I'm sad, you subconsciously said, this is my reality, I am sad. So now you're going to find every single reason to believe that you are sad. I'm having a bad day. But I have very fine reasons to have a bad day. I feel I'm sad. Now you've opened the room to think, oh, maybe I'm actually not. I just think I am, but maybe I'm not. Do you know what I mean? So it's just changing like words to say, I'm not this, I feel this. This is the narrative that my mind is creating. Because now you've opened up the room to think, oh, mate, maybe that's not my reality. I can change this. Because if you say it's your reality, it becomes a lot harder to change.
I think that concept
Interesting,
also works with. So, when we met, like, I think our relationship had to be bad, not bad, but had to have bumps and stuff before it could, before we could be fully comfortable with each other.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? I think I had a big role to play in that, like, I want to talk about how our relationship evolved in terms of how
But I was thinking, where the hell is he taking this right now?
No, I told him. I already told him that we were going to talk about this earlier.
Okay.
But I want to talk about because we never hated each other. We always had like good favor for each other in a way.
Yeah.
But like there was opportunity, like we could have been like this close earlier.
Okay, yeah. 100%.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And we never let it happen.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
A lot of that was because of me.
A lot of that because of me too, bro.
I like to think I had a very difficult time opening up to people. And I was more comfortable people opening up to me. And I'd hope the relationship built from that. So I'd keep people at a distance. I'd keep people at an arm's length. And I'll tell you little pieces, hoping that would be enough. Because I was not ready for myself to be vulnerable. I used to see vulnerability to be a weakness. Why do I want to open up myself to somebody? Why would I want to do that? But there's a lot of strength in being vulnerable, because if you don't, it impedes on building meaningful emotional relationships. Because there's only much a friend can open up without you opening up. Right? If you don't open up, your friend might not open up. And for me, our relationship was, he tried to open up a lot more to me, but because I wasn't opening up to him, it became a lot harder for us to have like a more meaningful relationship. And only when I started opening up, that our relationship now became a lot better than it was before.
Right. I think it'd be times too where let's say for example one day we'll have a conversation. I'll be like, oh yeah, you know what, me and Bilal are close friends, you know, whatever, this and that. The next day you won't speak to me like, or you won't like, you tell me, mate, whatever, like, you know, like something that you make me seem like, okay, you're just like an acquaintance, and I'll be like, oh damn, oh Bilal's just my roommate, or he's just a guy that I know. You know what I mean? I used to not be sure, but I think also I could have done a better job too, because I never. So before, like especially earlier on in uni, I was not the most tidy person. You know what I mean?
You don't need to mention that.
Yeah, no, it's all good. So you, like, what drove you away as well is that I didn't respect your comfort level in terms of how we kept our place.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Right?
I'm a very clean dude.
So that also put like a wedge in it. And a lot of that was my fault too. Like, you know, how could you expect to foster like a good friendship if there's no, you know what I mean? Like if I don't respect your, and it's not like you didn't tell me about it. It's like, you know, but I'm naturally like I have something I worked on. Like I have low awareness naturally, but you know, like how could you expect to have a friendship with somebody if they're not even, you know what I mean? Like.
Hey, but here we are now on a podcast.
You already know. No,
you feel me?
It worked out well in the end. Like we're boys in the end. We're close friends in the end, but it took time as well. But yeah.
You can ask your questions now.
Yeah, go ahead.
What I was gonna say is that I don't have a question for you.
Okay.
Because normally with all our guests, I say look into the camera and give a piece of advice to a listener. But I feel like you've dropped so many gems already. I don't need to ask you to give advice because you've given so much of it. But if you have any more, feel free.
Think of when you think of like, excuse me, a younger you, right?
Yeah, what would you tell a younger
Bilal, like before he made all these mistakes and learned from all these experiences and grown from all this, like this life that he's been through, like what would you tell him to make his life easier? See somebody similar in your situation, maybe they're going to uni abroad for the first time, maybe they're, you know what I mean? What would you say like?
I'll tell, like, very importantly, I'll tell Bilal, you don't have to always figure it out. I always used to feel like I needed to figure everything out and I needed to have everything under control. A lot of the time because that's the perception that people had of me. And I always used to want to meet that sort of idea. So people used to think, I've had it figured out, so I'm going to try and figure it out. But it's okay to not have it figured out. It's okay to not have everything under control. It's okay to not know what you're going to do. It's okay to just learn. The only thing is just be confident in your ability that you will figure it out. You don't have it figured out right now. You don't have it control right now. You're going to, and have comfort in that. So be okay that it's hard right now. Be okay that you don't have a solution or whatnot, but have the confidence in yourself that, oh, you're going to figure it out. So that allows you to be vulnerable. Say, okay, I don't have it figured out. I am in a position where it's a bit hard for myself, but I'll get to where I need to get to. And that's where, for me, faith comes along, is just having that trust in God that you will get to where you need to get to. So, you can find it hard and still be grateful. You can not have it figured out, and that is still okay. All you just need to do is pray and be grateful and have solid relationship with your mother and your family, and everything will be okay.
Facts.
Can we get the good morning chant before we go off?
Yo, I said it's a good morning. Some of y'all are still yawning.
Jeez.
Some of your babies are still crawling. Wake up. Hey, Michael Dapper, don't sue us, you feel me?
Yeah. Oh, no copyright.
Shout me, you feel me? Big Shaq, that was you in Halloween, first year. I just wore a hat and a jacket. Big Shaq, man's no hot. Literally. It was just because it was cold. But we don't celebrate Halloween over here.
Is there anybody that you want to give a shout out to? Somebody important in your life? Somebody who might see this and, you know, like, who would you want to shout out right now?
God.
Family, anybody?
I don't know. I'm just grateful for life, mate. That's it.
Yeah?
I'm just grateful for life.
Okay, how about you, Hussein?
Me?
Yeah.
Shout out
Baba Zaid. Shout you out.
Yeah. Baba Zaid?
Baba Zaid. Abu Zaid.
Abu Zaid, yeah.
Oh, Baba is Shahidi's father.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Abu Zaid, special shout out for you. Not even from your children.
Yeah.
Your children didn't even shout you out.
Yeah.
I was gonna, but Bilal beat me to it.
I want to shout out Bilal. Thank you so much.
And your
Cut
mom
me off
too.
again.
And your mom
Cut
too.
me off again.
No, and your mom too. Last time I said hi to your father, your mom got up. She mentioned that, why is he not saying hi to me? Mama Zaid. Zaid. Shout you too.
Perfect. Thank you, man. We appreciate that. I want to give shout out.
Not to Mush Mush.
Oh, I'll give shout out to Mush Mush. Shout out Mush Mush. You know, shout out Mama and Baba. Shout out all my boys back home. Shout out my boys in Canada too. Shout out everybody.
Relax yourself, man.
Yeah,
you're on a podcast with 0 views. You're shouting out everyone.
Yeah, if they're viewing it. My friends are gonna see it.
You'd like to think they are.
You like to think
I hope to God, bro. Like,
Anyways, Bilal, thank you so much for being on the podcast, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Again, people, I am not perfect. Let me not put myself in a light where you think, I make mistakes. All you're seeing right now is just a veil that is covering all my faults. But yeah,
sounds good.
please do not think I'm perfect.
And with that,
Please do not put evil eye on me.
We understand.
Yeah.
We understand.
Give me duas. That's all I need.
yeah. And with that, post for the thumbnail of that video episode real quick. All right, now, and we out.
Thank you, guys.